You may be seated.
Appreciate that, guys. Sorry for that sound. Got me. Um, for a while, about a couple years back, there's a young man that came that I became in contact with, and obviously had a always knew his he had an amazing story if he ever gave it to the Lord, and I uh, I prayed for this young man many times, and not only myself but a lot of people at this church, and it was about 2 years ago in January, February, where I got a phone call, the phone call that you want to get, and I always told Daniel that God could do amazing things through you, and he called me and he said I got saved, and I was just praising the Lord. I know where I was at. I was at the Tanger Outlets and at the Disney store trying to buy Kenley something, and just trying to hear him. I've never really heard him speak that way before about God and about his life, and I'll tell you this much. Just I don't know what he's going to share tonight, but what God, his story can touch and reach many lives, and we all have a story. But I'm thankful that today he's been bold and ambitious to come and share with, I do believe, with the people he loves, the church he loves, his testimony, what God's doing in his heart. So for the next several minutes, please give your attention, open your hearts to Brother Daniel. He's going to come and give his testimony. Would you come? Let's give him a hand.
To be honest, I don't know if I can trust you guys' sound equipment. I'm kind of nervous. I don't want to scare anybody. So that I can be here and tell you guys my story. Like he said, a little over a year ago, I didn't care to tell anybody my story because I didn't want any part of helping anybody, with it. So, but I am thankful that through the things that happened in my life, I can come through it and give my story now. I'm just going to start so I don't waste all the time left. My testimony, it starts here. My family started here. I mean, my family's been going to church here where they used to, not anymore. They went here forever. My mom graduated from here, and I've got like 50 family members in the church. And but we started here, and this is where I started in nursery, and then was a daycare, and kindergarten, and so forth, and went to church here. But when I first, we started coming here, and this is where all my friends were. My family was here. This is where I went to school, and I remember it was it's been 11 years ago. My parents announced to me and my oldest brother, which is Chris. Steven's the middle, and I'm the youngest. So if I use their names, you know which one they are. Chris was in college, so he didn't care, but they announced whatever to me and Steven that we would be attending church in Roanoke Rapids from now on, helping Fred Caraway start his church up there. And that was the worst thing that could ever happen to me, because, like I said, all my family and friends were here, and I hated Roanoke Rapids. And so we started going there, and we were meeting in a hotel conference room. It was the worst. I was the only one there that was under the age of 60, and it was brutal. And so we continued to go. We were only going to go for a couple months, and Mom was going to play the piano for Fred, and 11 years later we're still there. But through that, I built a relationship with Fred Caraway, and I think that's the greatest man on this planet. And but even through having somebody like Fred Caraway in my life, I still wanted nothing to do with God. But I remember it was 2008, December. My oldest brother here had just gotten married. I don't know the date. I'm really not organized. And I was gonna say too, I don't have one note, and that's really dumb with me. I should have wrote something down. But my brother had just gotten married, went to his honeymoon, came back, and just bought a house, put it beside ours. And I remember it was right at Christmas. It was the 23rd. What I'm about to tell you guys, and me and my middle brother Steven and Chris and my cousin Hunter, which is Sam Davis, Miss Willoughby's brother. You probably know Hunter. I don't know why I'm explaining who Hunter is. We all piled in my brother's vehicle. We were going to go to this hunting store. It's when I was a big hunter, and I was young, so I didn't understand. But we got two driveways, and we left the first driveway, and we headed on down the road. And then when we got to the second driveway, my dad was there. He said, "Hey, you and Steven got to stay here. You can't go." I was like, "What? I'm going to the..." Anyway. And so I didn't understand, so I got super mad. Come to find out, it was because they were buying me stuff, and they didn't want me to see it for Christmas. It was the 23rd, 2 days before Christmas. So I said, "Okay, this is dumb." So me and my Steven, we got in the house, and we were just chilling. And you know when you, it may just be me, I may have a power or a gift, but you know when something weird's about to happen. Like, you got a bad feeling, you know something's up. And me and Steven had just talked about it. I said, "Man, something's weird." And my brother got a phone call about 30 minutes later after that, and said, "Hey, Chris and Hunter have been in a car wreck. You need to come to the hospital." And I said, I was freaking out. I was a little kid, but I was at the time. My oldest brother, he was my hero. That was my buddy. So I didn't think, I told Steven, "Well, he's fine. He's tough." They were in his truck. Nothing happened. And we get there, and my dad, he meets us at the door, and he said, "Hunter's upstairs. He's in a room." It banged him up pretty bad. And I said, "Well, where's Chris at?" And he didn't say anything. And he said, "Well, your brother didn't make it." That was brutal. That was rough. That was my buddy. That was my hero. Still is. But I just couldn't believe it. And he had just gotten married 14 days before that. That was 2 days before Christmas. I said, "Man, and I was young, so I didn't really understand everything. So I was pretty tough through it, for my parents. But I remember I'd come home. Me and Steven, we were pretty good friends. We were close friends. We were, everywhere he went, I went. So after Chris's death, me and him got closer. We'd come home and see, Mom and Dad. They were praying and crying, and I would tell them, well, just stuff you say to somebody just died. "Oh, we'll see him again." Okay, well, thanks. That'll help me in 60 years. But as time went on, and then through that, I became paranoid that the rest of my family was going to get in a car wreck. I never thought that I was going to. I always thought it was just going to be my family. So through that, I was praying. It was completely in vain because I wasn't saved, but it's not in vain, but I was praying that God don't take the rest of my family. And things started getting better. We were still going to Roanoke Rapids, which was still brutal. But at this time, we had gained one person that was under 60. They were 45. So it was okay, but it still was awful. I still hated it. I hated this place. I got in a lot of fights over it. I didn't want to go. I wanted to be with my friends here. Anyway, so we're in Roanoke Rapids. Oh man, can y'all hear me? Should I have been holding this up the whole time? Okay, don't matter. We're in Roanoke again. My dad had to stay home, and it was me, my brother Steven, and my mom. We were all there in Roanoke, and we had just got done doing something at the church. I don't remember. and my brother was dating somebody in Raleigh, so he was about to head on down there to Raleigh from Roanoke, and I, it's crazy, but I remember I said, man, let me go with you, and I was just begging him, let me go, and I asked my mom, can I go, and we got in a fight before he left, and this is a stupid detail, but it's a big detail to me. So just listen. I don't care if you care. It's good to me. So I just got this new hat. Serious. This is serious to me. Okay. Just got a new hat from the baseball team we used to take to school to. They're no longer a baseball team. In Kinston. Kinston Indians. So I just got a hat from there, and I was pumped about this hat. He was like, let me wear that hat tonight on my date. And I said, no, take me and you can wear my hat. He said, I can't take you on my date, man. Because I don't remember how old I was. I was in like 7th grade, 6th grade. He's like, I can't take you on my date, but let me take your hat. I was like, you're not taking my hat. And he went on and he ended up taking my hat. So he was wearing my hat. He tore on down the road. And me and Mom went bowling. And we came back to the camper. We had, the camper up there was staying. And about 4 in the morning, we wake up to my dad knocking on the camper door. I mean, like 100 times. Like, what's this fool doing? It's 4 in the morning. And he comes in and he says, Stephen's been in a wreck on the way back from Raleigh, and he didn't make it. That was in May 16, 2009. It's 5 months after my first brother was killed in a car wreck. My first brother, he ran a stop sign, so it was no big deal. My second brother was hit head on by a drunk driver. That was a big deal to me. I don't remember who cleaned my brother's car out, but they brought the stuff to my house. And it was about a week later I was finally allowed to look in it. It was my favorite hat in there, in that bag. It had glass in it, blood on it. That was my second hero. And he ruined my hat. That was brutal, man. That was rough on a kid. And I acted tough for my parents. I don't know how they did it. I mean, that's 5 months. 2 of your kids are dead. And after that, I got real bitter. I did not want anything to do with God. I don't want somebody to tell me, oh, this is God's plan, brother. He's gonna use it. I don't care. I don't care. I'm down 2 brothers. I don't care what God has to say. I stayed okay for about a year or two, and when I got into high school, I really got pretty bad off. And I was a jerk. I was probably a jerk to many of you if you were. I don't remember. To be honest, I can't remember much, but I was a jerk. And I'm sorry for being a jerk to whoever I was a jerk to. But I got in high school and I got into stuff that I shouldn't have, but I didn't really turn bad off until I graduated. And then I graduated and I told myself, I can just make it to graduation. Because my mom told me I'd have a choice. She said, you don't, I've made you go to church for 18 years. And if you don't want to, you don't have to. When you graduate, you can do your own thing. But if you don't, you're moving out. I had no money, so I couldn't move out. So I had to go to church. But I said, if I can just make it to graduation and I can get my own house, I will never step foot in the church again. Because I don't want any part, and I don't want anything to do with a God that would take my family away. Because I didn't see a bigger purpose. I didn't see a bigger plan. I just saw a God that would take my family away by a drunk driver. And anyway, so I got real bad. I started turning to things. Well, I'm just gonna tell you. I don't care. It's in the past, not my future. I graduated, I started drinking a lot. And it's really ironic. Most nights that I would drink, I'd be flat out toasted, and I would drive home. Same thing that killed my brother, and I was doing the same thing that they were doing, you know. And praise God that I'm still alive and I can still tell my story. Um, I was trying anything that I could get my hands on. I went farther than drinking. I went whatever I could, whatever I could buy, because I didn't want to turn to God. I wanted to turn to things that I thought would help me, and they did help me for about 30 minutes. Because I didn't even know who I was. I didn't know where I was. Didn't know whose house I was at. I didn't know what was going on. I was just breathing, basically. I got real bitter. Didn't want to be nowhere near God or anything. Through the wrecks, when I got out of high school, kind of what drove me to start doing those things was I got bad anxiety, bad depression, and stuff like that. But I could deal with it. I thought I could do it. I was just masking it with more things, And I remember I got so bad off that I don't remember what it was. See, here's another thing. I don't remember half the stuff that happened after high school because my brain was just completely fried all the time. So my memory's a little off. But I remember it was one night I just I was just done with dealing with it, because it's an everyday. You learn ways to cope with it, but you never get over it. And I'll never get over it, even now. But I took a bunch of stuff. I don't know what it was. If I did, I wouldn't tell you. But I took a bunch of stuff, and I said, God, if you take me, don't care, because I don't. And this was at the time when I didn't even think he was real. I didn't care to know if he was real. So I was just ready to go, I didn't want to be here to go through the pain anymore. Completely selfish, by the way. Wasn't thinking of my parents. They've already lost two boys. They don't need to lose a third. But I didn't care because I didn't want to be here anymore. Somehow, some way I got through that too. Don't know how, but I do know how. The Lord. But I got through it. And I was finally pulling through. I quit doing stupid things, but I still didn't turn to God. I didn't want any part of him still. So I was doing fine as a person, not as a Christian. You know what I mean? So I remember I had been on the fire station for about a year, and it was 2017. I don't remember the date, brother. What's the date, Noah? Your father. Is it in January? Yeah. So I was at the station, and I'm still dealing with panic attacks and stuff like that. But I was coming out of it, And I don't remember who called me. I think my dad called me. My dad called me and said, "Hey, man, David Welch has passed away." And I said, "Well, how?" And he said, "Well, he got sick, and he took his life." I remember, and it's the weirdest thing. I mean, we've been good friends, me and you, but we were never super close. I mean, but that shook me. My whole body went numb. I didn't have any words. I just put the phone down. I drove home. I had nothing to say about it. I couldn't believe it. It still makes me just speechless about it. But we were leaving that night to go to Philadelphia. I had to, not Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I don't know. It's one of the P's. And I really don't remember. I'm sorry. We were going up there. I had to do a walkthrough kind of class / interview thing at you don't care. We were going up there. It's crazy. We had to go down 95. We get to the Roanoke Rapids exit. And I'm driving. I had to pull the car over. because my whole body just shut down. I couldn't see for about 30 minutes. They laid it, we pulled in a church parking lot right off the highway. They laid me on the parking lot there, and I was shaking. I couldn't talk. I couldn't see. I'm thinking, what what is going on here? And I came out of it, and I took something to calm me down, and we got. I'm going way too long now. Okay. We got. They got me back to where I could, I could see fine. I could talk fine. So I got in the car and I went to sleep, and I slept the whole way there. When I got there, when I woke up, initially I said, okay, I'm fine now. That was just the worst panic attack ever. And I went into the hotel, and it happened again. And it kept happening, and it was, I don't wish it on anybody. I'd rather go through my brother's deaths multiple times than go through what I went through after I got that phone call. It was the worst thing, and I don't want anybody to go through that. And it kept getting worse. I thought I was dying. I thought I was gonna die. I thought that was it. And I didn't know. I couldn't explain it. I couldn't explain my symptoms. They took me to the hospital when we got back home, or the doctor. I don't know what it was. And they were trying to figure out what was going on. They said I had extreme depression, this and that. And I'll never forget. I was sitting on that bed, on that stupid paper. Y'all know the paper they pull over the beds? That's dumb, okay? I was sitting on that bed, and Walter Sloan walks in the room. Buddy. Walter Sloan. I'm telling you, I don't know. I love Mr. Sloan. That's a solid man. And he walked in there, he prayed with me. But at this time, I still didn't care. So it was complete. Anyway, but he prayed over me. And they gave me all kind of medicine. I took it. I started taking it, and I started getting a little bit better. And I started fighting really, really bad, fighting suicidal thoughts and stuff like that. And I said to myself, even though Mr. Welch was sick, I said, a man of God like that, so strong. He was a solid man. That was a tough guy. He was another hero, and I've got like 15. So, but I thought a lot of him, and I said, a man of God like that can do something like that. It would take nothing for me to, So I fought it real bad. I couldn't stay at home by myself. I felt like I was 5 years old. I couldn't be left alone. It was a tough battle, a tough fight. And I'm still surprised that I can even today talk about it. And I'm surprised I can talk about it because it was tough, but I'm surprised that I'm here to talk about it. And I'd been out of church for so long, and I wasn't allowed out of my parents' sight because my mom's crazy, but they took me to Roanoke. I was like, no, okay, you can take me anywhere. It's not Roanoke. I'm tired of it. And they wouldn't let me go anywhere else. So I went to Roanoke, and Rex Evans was, couldn't tell you what he talked about. I don't know. I didn't care. But at the end of it, it just all hit me once. Everything that I've been through up until that point, even the stuff I was going through during that time, was all God's plan. God didn't just look away and say, "Oh, I forgot. I took my hand away." Well, that's not the case. It was all God's plan. And that night, and it still surprises me. Out of nowhere, I just said, "This medicine ain't gonna work. Okay, it'll calm me down a little bit. This medicine's not gonna work. Drinking's not gonna work. Drugs ain't gonna work. Suicide definitely ain't gonna work." Okay. I said, it's time to stop running from God, which is what I was doing, and I got saved. And Rex Evans led me to the Lord in his office February 2nd, 2017, and that changed everything. Um, before then I had told people I was saved, and I've actually given this testimony like 10 times before I was saved. So I don't know what if somebody got anything from that, but it changed everything. I had never felt that way. Back to the medicine, I took it about one more week after February 2nd, and I went to the doctor again, and I said, look, I got saved, bud, okay? And God is a lot more powerful than your medicine you put me on, and I ain't taking it no more. He said, okay, well, Mr. Gwaltney, you need to take it and just get off of it slowly. I said, no, I ain't taking it no more. So I left the bottle. But then Mom took the bottle in case it came back. But I don't remember the date. I should, because it'd be a good point to remember. But about a week after I got saved, I quit taking the medicine completely. Never touched it again, and I'll never touch it again. But God completely changed me. And if I would have give him my attention on the first brother, maybe the second one would be here. If I'd have given it to him on the second, maybe I wouldn't have gone through all that mental. I tell everybody my brain broke, but maybe I wouldn't have gone through that if I would have just stopped running, stopped being hard-headed, and stopped being a jerk in high school, which I was, and just give my life to God. That's all he wanted. That was the whole purpose. And now I've got this whole story that I'm so excited to use. I'm so excited to use it. Anywhere I can. I'll go anywhere and tell the story. I tell it to people at the gas station. They'll ask me, but they'll ask me what my ring means, stuff like that, and then I'm like, oh, buddy, pull up a chair. But I'm pumped. I'm excited that God has a hold of me now. And I promise you, I'm never, ever, ever going to stop giving him my full attention. Because I'm not going through the stuff I went through again. And that guy right there, that Noah Welch guy, that's a strong dude right there, buddy. He's got a killer testimony, and he stayed strong before his dad, and he stayed strong after his dad. And I wish I had half the courage and half the strength that he had. Because I went through stuff, and I thought that it would be best for me to handle it on my own. Noah knew the truth. And that's why he's so strong. He had God through it all. And I didn't. That was my choice. I'm going to read something real quick, if I can find it. I never won at the sword drills. Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart. Lean not into thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. One more here, just for the fun of it. In everything give thanks, for this is the will of God in Christ Jesus concerning you. I'm thankful. Number one, I'm thankful for this church. Because these teachers and the faculty here, they love you guys a lot more than you probably think. Because I didn't think that when I was there, telling me to get haircuts and whatnot, and telling me I can't wear a t-shirt on chapel days. But no, they love you a lot, and they want to see you do the best that you can, and for you to be completely in God's will. And I didn't understand that at the time because I was stupid. So I'm thankful for this place. I'm thankful for the people that's been in my life through this. Fred Caraway, Christian Powell. I'm thankful for all of them. Brother Marco. And I'm thankful for my story that God's given me. I'm thankful that I gave my life to him, that I have the strength to tell it. I wasn't ready. When I first got saved, Brother Marco said, well, you tell me when you're ready to give your story, and we'll go from there. And it's been a year. So it was tough. It took me a lot to be able to do it, but I'm thankful that I can do it. And I'm thankful for God's love through the life that I lived. He didn't change. It didn't change. His love didn't change. He was always there, and he was just waiting on me to make the decision. So if I was just going to leave you guys with anything, I would tell you to just stop waiting. Don't wait. Don't waste the time, and don't give Don't wait for God to get your attention the way he got mine. You know what I mean? Y'all know what I'm saying? Go ahead and just do it, because I promise you, God's life for you is a lot better than what you think your life will be if you do it on your own. You know what I mean? Because I didn't have any plans when I graduated. I was just gonna not do anything. But a lot of you have big plans, big dreams. But I promise you, if they're not in God's will, it's gonna be a miserable life. Just the bottom line. Put God first. Choose Him. Follow Him first. And I promise you, everything else will work out. Thank you.